them try and siege the Phoenixes. They got all 3 Phoenixes down and they lost the game from there. You do not do that. That does not happen. Dig does not do that. I don't know.
You almost say, like, I think it was Rafa in his interview, he said that if you're against NRG, Dig, or Obey, and you get that kind of lead, you just expect, you know, you start talking about the next game. Yeah. Because it should be won. And for them to lose that, I think it really affected them. And I don't think they handle... you know, if you look at what they've had this year, they didn't lose. No. Not just in scrims, but in real tournaments. And I think that they didn't learn how to lose productively. And I think that loss really it set a shockwave. And maybe I don't know what happened. You know, we're not Dig.
You can't get in the mind of the players.
Yeah, but it seems that there's a fracture there, and something went wrong, and they stopped being a team, and then they became 5 people who were just really playing Smite. You know, like they were a ranked team or something. I don't know. It was a bit. It just felt like something broke after that game.
You mentioned before, you know, losing is important to learn as far as like X's and O's. Chalk Jungle is, you know, bad, but we keep winning with it, so we can't learn from it. There's also the mental aspect of losing and learning about that as well. Dignitas being so successful might have bit them in the butt, but now looking to turn it around against Trifecta. 2 bans coming out from Trifecta, an assassin and a warrior, both of which probably focused on the jungle. Team Dignitas, however, banning out the RTO and the Fafnir, trying to keep Aurora in check. He seems to be the focal point for a lot of teams heading up against Trifecta. First pick over to them.
I imagine this will be Osiris. Based on what I've seen, both of these teams prioritize Trifecta. Are obviously, they're experimenting with everything they draft at this point. But I think knowing how important Osiris seemed to be between Dig and Rival, I imagine that's what they opt to go for here.
The problem here is Trifecta keep banning Osiris because Kiki does not play a strong Osiris.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking Kiki, Osiris, that does not sound like a combo made in heaven. And we see the Morrigan come out. That's great. Takes it away from zeros. I think Trifecta looked strong with Morrigan in the last game they played. So
yeah, Hurry had a great Morrigan game, right? Yeah, with the Ratatoska combos, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was interesting watching the Morrigan come out because I made a note that a lot of times when we saw Herwin transform into the other characters, he wasn't accurate with the kit. He wasn't really doing it, but it wasn't even the application of the abilities. It was just him making the decision to go in, allowing Sinosure to follow up, sort of playing the Cherio role where he's the initiator out of the ordinary, allowing his teammate to kind of do the dirty work.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Herwind he's a backlane mage. You know, he plays carry, and for him to be able to switch, he didn't play frontline perfectly, but he played it well enough that they got team fights and they got wins off it, and that's that's all you need to do as the Morrigan. You're never going to frontline as good as Cherio is, if you're a mage player. But he came, he did his job.
This scares me a bit. I feel like Digger switching it up again.
Yep.
Cuvo Cabra. Do you know much about Cuvo Cabra?
Cuvo,
I do not.
I do. Cuvo Cabrakan, one of the first junglers that started bringing out Cabrakan.
They used to flex it, right?
Yes.
Trick, Zale, and Cuvo all used to play it way back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day when Cabrakan first came out. Actually, Cuvo was one of the first guys to really bring him out, and the whole Fat Loki era of Cabrakan, really, Trick Tank kind of ushered that in. So a little bit of a throwback here. What I like about the 2 picks from Dignitas, however, is when you first pick Trifecta, you're setting a statement in the draft. You're saying, you can't pick Fear No Evil. You can't pick these giant ultimates that are going to win you the game because we have them too. And so Dignitas respond by picking Osiris, Cabrakan. These are characters that you want to spend the whole game in their kit, not just the flash that you get from the Morrigan. You're going to, Osiris ult on somebody? Like, good for you. Like, it's not a big deal.
What I want to know is whether Herwind has a Cabrakan, because Cabrakan, on paper, should be a great Morrigan target. He's got a lot of early burst in his kit. You max the 2 is very good skill to max with full points. He's got a fantastic teamfight ult that can turn it. So, is Hurry willing to do that if he needs to?
Certainly something to think about. Xing Qian and Ho Yi being selected. Ho Yi obviously in the hands of Snoopy over there. Xing Qian, a little bit of a flex. Both Aurora and Kiki can play this.
So I think this is interesting because when we saw Elevate, who really highly valued the Jing Chen in the solo lane, they banned Osiris every single time.
Yeah.
And if this is going to be Kiki on the Jing in the solo lane, then I think that they might have missed something here. This might be a kind of draft that they've copied where they've not understood the fact that maybe Jing gets really bopped in lane by Osiris, which I can see happening. He would bully him out through that sustain. So it'll be interesting to see how that matchup goes.
At the same time, like I said, Aurora can totally play the Xing Chen. So with that in mind, might wind up on the other side of the map.
Maybe.
Definitely something to think about. Dignitas have the ball in their court right now, looking for the second round of bans. So far, they've focused more on the Guardian role. Xing Chen providing that ambiguity, as he might wind up on either side of the map. Dignitas trying to figure things out. So far, I think all you can really say is Trifecta, they don't have a jungler. But Dignitas seems certain that XT will wind up in the short lane.
Do you think they've just banned the Sylvanas? Obviously, as you say, Xing Chen probably going to solo. And Dig do have the pick after the bans, and they're banning support. So this either indicates the Cabrakan could be going support, which seems unlikely, but definitely possible given the team's history with Trixtank.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to hedge their bets and hope Trifecta don't ban more supports, because if they start trading support bans, and luckily they went for AMC, then it could turn out poorly, and they might lose the pick that they're after.
Well, I mean, Trixtank has a pretty wide god pool. Whether or not Trixtank has the Cabrakan, you know, Trixtank came into the scene really being the warrior guy, right? Made a name for himself on picks like Sun Wukong and other aggressive supports. Cabrakan certainly fits that bill. I expect it to be in the hands of Cuvo Fred, but anything's possible. Ganesh and the Ram going to be banned out by Trifecta, so Trifecta keeping an eye over there on Arkle, still a constant threat.
I think we'll probably see Arkle aim for an Ulla, possibly a Hachiman, but I do think he is he prefers the Ulla into the Ho Yi, or at least I would.
Yeah.
But I'm quite interested in the Raijin for Zeros. I missed this originally, but you know, Zeros does have a Raijin, but it's usually put on the back burner for characters like the Morrigan, which was picked away, or Sol, or Kronos, or Toph. And all of these characters were open, and he opted to go for it. And I wonder whether that is Diggs thinking that maybe they're overreacting, because I think they were playing good characters, but maybe they're thinking other teams aren't playing these, so let's play what they're playing.
Well, the Hachiman shows the hand of the hunter for Team Dignitas, and you know, the Raijin selection almost makes me think the Cabrakan is going to wind up in support, because Cabrakan has fantastic level 1 clear, and he's able to really control that lane. Raijin is picked for the pressure that he has in the lane, so either they're looking for all out, or they're going to pick a jungler that doesn't have as much pressure and kind of lean on Raijin to be that guy. So I do think it's less likely, but that is sort of an open thought process for why we'd see the Raijin on a player that not necessarily known for it. Gab locked in here for Trifecta, along with Naja, one of the Sinosure is the Naja player, right?
He's played it like almost every game. Ooh,
spicy! I like it.
This looks like an Obey draft, no? Does that not just look like Obey on the right?
That looks exactly like an Obey draft.
Yeah.
The Cabrakan would be Cabrakan Osiris. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. That's I think it'd probably be like Twig on Osiris and. But that's a good draft. That's an Obey approved draft. Right?
I'm liking it. I really am liking it. The Hachiman, real quick, what does he bring to the table?
A horse.
Yeah,
he has a horse and he goes on it and then he shoots, and it should hit, but sometimes it doesn't. But most of the time it does, and it does damage. But mostly a horse.
Ladies and gentlemen, your #1 team in Europe. It's Team Obey here. Real quick, one word. Who wins?
Trifecta.
Dig.
Split down the middle. Right now, I'll leave it to our 2 casters. It's Hindyman and it's Aggro.
As expected, not to actually say horse then when it comes to the second time. Right, who's going to win?
I literally asked him that exact same question earlier, like off air, and he gave me the same answer.
So it's all about the horse.
Yeah, Guan Yu ADC next time on Obey's duo lane.
Well, we were hanging out with Milsey, me and Aggro, a minute ago, and he was just saying about Hell support, and Trixtank has it in his god pool, and he's pretty good at it, supposedly.
Yeah, he said he was an okay Hell, and Emilzy is the type of dude who's going to say that, you know, he's the best at everything, and a lot of times he's right. But to get the Emilzy seal of approval for the Hell, it bodes well for Dignitas.
It's going to be a funny, tricky one, this, because when you actually look at Dignitas throughout the years and throughout the ages, Trixtank has always been an initiator, always been on the front lines, and as a Hell, that's a completely different style of play overall. You can't do the same sort of thing.
But look at the initiation that Dignitas has in the jungle with that Cabrakan. I mean, if you haven't watched any Elevate games and want to see how to initiate as a Cabrakan in the jungle, Cherio is the best at it. And Cuvo Fred is usually not trying to emulate anybody else because he's so good that he can do whatever he wants, his own style, and it'll usually end up working out. But honestly, I hope Cuvo's been taking notes from Cherry with this.
Well, I'll tell you what, with how Trifecta have started this game, it tells me, after that Ricochet, first of all, that Snoopy can hit them. But it also
really,
tells
you just
me
learned that?
Where those wards are, right? Is that they are very scared of a cheesy start from Dignitas, and if it doesn't happen, they feel they can probably take this one okay.
In the duo lane, actually starting in the duo lane. That's something you usually see.
Look at the ward. Meanwhile, blinking from a roar straight away, full pressure on Trix. Sprint propped by him immediately, turns around in mid lane. Bit of pressure coming out there. You saw Cuvo wrap round the back, but it was spotted out, so there'll be no extra fights there.
Yeah, this Hell support going to make sure that Dignitas gets that early pressure, and the poke put on to Trick's tank by Aurora and Snoopy, irrelevant because of the Hell, but because of the Hell sustain. And Aurora should know, man, he was the one who pulled it out here at the Energy Invitational. He and the rest of his squad were big proponents of this Hell, and you know that Dignitas is going to be familiar with it from playing against Obey.
Tricky matchup there for Kiki as well up against this Osiris early on. We've not seen Variety get hold of that just yet. Big game for him to get it, but Arkill takes a lot more damage than he would like to there. Trickstank, though, back here at level 1. We'll be able to heal him up, and Snoopy's still committing, looking for some more.
Just having that level advantage means that Trifecta gets to play super aggressive in this lane, and it's perfect time to do it because look at the clear that Trifecta gained for themselves in the mid lane as well. So that means Sino and Heroine get to meet up with the dual lane of Trifecta and strip away both of their buffs.
Kivo Fred decided to head to the right-hand side to take the blue. Purple's taking a little bit of time here for Trifecta to take. They're going to be forced to reset. A little bit worried about Arkill as well as Hell being on this side, but Sino Show's wrapping around the back.
He went to the back camps, and now Dignitas has no idea. In fact, Arkill's going to dash in. Aurora's just trying to stay alive so he doesn't get first blooded.
They need to commit on Aurora before Sino Show turns up, otherwise this could get worse for Dignitas yet again. 2 kills to Trifecta, and they are one of the only NA teams that could potentially now look at getting out of the wildcards.
Trifecta, one of the hopes if you're not rooting for Energy or Elevate to make it out of these group stages. The only NA team to be 1-0 so far. Noble 0-2, Space Station 0-2. So Trifecta has a lot riding on their shoulders for NA's hopes coming out of the gauntlet.
And the big thing is that, yeah, there's 5 games you'll play total in this group stage, but if you're 0-2, you got to win the remaining 3. But if the other teams are 3-0 that you lost to, well, you're going to lose based on the head-to-head record anyway.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Noble or for Space Station or, frankly, for Dignitas, who's also 0-2 so far today. Dignitas need to win this game, and even then, they still aren't in a great spot to qualify to go to HRX. If Dignitas lose this, they're pretty much out.
Well, started off well for Trifecta here, 2-0 in the lead already. Gold advantage is definitely theirs after the first blood and the additional couple of buffs they stripped away. But pressure on the right-hand side for Dig has been pretty consistent so far, and Kiki's doing what he needs to in the early game on this Guardian. Hug that tower.
This is the important matchup for me in this one, is Variety up against Kiki, giving Kiki a losing lane matchup intentionally, just hoping that he's going to do more in the team fighting stage than the Osiris will be able to. Variety has not been that big carry solo laner that Dignitas has really relied on him to be for most of Season 4. That cannot continue if Dignitas want to try and make it to HRX.
But there was signs of life out of Variety a little bit earlier on. Sideshow, they're looking for a bit of pressure. Tricks was not lazy backing, that's the best news. He was lazy backing, but at least he wasn't in the shop that can sometimes catch them unaware. Sino will just have to accept the wave. But going back to Variety, I mean, we did see the tier game earlier on. He did look a little bit more lively than we've seen this weekend, as did the whole of Dignitas.
Yeah, they started to move in the right direction, but Elevate was just a little bit too much to handle. I mean, that's the two teams. You want to talk about 2 teams on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to momentum. I mean, Elevate is riding high right now on how well they're playing. Dignitas is really in the doldrums as far as where their play has been recently. So that in my mind, contributed to that victory more than anything else.
Bit of an attempt to steal away coming out from Dignitas there. Don't think it happened. No, Sancho will pick up his buff, and Cuvo wasn't really in a position to help out. So back to farming they go. Dignitas still have their own jungle to take a couple of slices out of.
I want to see Dignitas be proactive on this right side of the map. Surprised that Dig kind of just allows Sino to get that speed buff for himself, with Kiki not having really a lot to offer at this stage of the game. You've got an Osiris against a solo laner without a sprint. Kiki's got teleport, so punish him for it. Try and use that horrific emblem that Variety's picked up.
Nice knock-up, nice ultimate coming out. Variety's getting low. Hell is nearby, but can Hell sustain in time? No, is the answer. And now Trixtank's going on a wild ride. It's not what he wants to go on, but the ride is over.
Might be over for Dignitas already, man.
I'm just like, oh no.
This is worst case scenario.
Oh, no.
4-0, a couple of misplays from Dignitas there. Tricks using that cleanse when Variety was all but dead. You can't really abandon him there in that situation and just assume that he's gone. But
oh no, now Cubo when he's throwing in mid lane, and Sinosure, that's not Sinosure, that's Horrywind. Gonna take him out too. And the best and worst news is for Trifecta here is they are popping off. You can see their cameras, they are screaming, and that's kind of what got under their skin a little bit earlier on, Dignitas, and I think everybody else has recognized that now, and you're like, you know what? we should do the same.
That's the worst thing that can happen to you, is having other teams recognize that you don't like it whenever they start getting loud, whenever they make plays against you, and it can affect your play after that. And you know, against a guy like Aurora, he's not quiet any time, let alone when he's starting to take it to you on the battlefield.
Dig lose this game, they are absolute 100% out, especially when you realize that that would have slipped them to 0-3 for the day, and 2 teams in this group are on 3-0. Arkil could be in trouble.
Sino has that speed buff, has those Teleria boots as well.
But he's got
the ultimate out for Arkil, but could have just relied on that slow cleanse from Trixtank, but not really trusting his support there.
No, the time being no, but nice grouping from Trifecta on the left-hand side. Good to see the rotations coming out from Aurora as well as Trixtank to the solo lane, though. One went very well with Aurora. Trix, different story.
The only lane where Dignitas has not been pushed back significantly is in the mid lane, and that's why Dignitas went for this Raijin pickup for Zeros. I mean, we really broke it down a lot during the rival set that his Thoth pick was really starting to hurt Dignitas because of the lack of pressure that they had in the mid lane. But Zeros is a guy who just wants to farm up during the early game. He's not going to be the type of dude to use that aggression that Raijin can really provide to his advantage. So I just don't know if that really synergizes well with his style.
And when we talked a little bit about, seeing Trixtank on this hell, it means there's a little bit more pressure on Cuvo Fred in the jungle again to perform with this Cabrakan. We've seen Cherio perform with it wonders so far this tournament. He's got the blink, but we've not seen an engage out of him just yet. He's been more, if anything, on the defensive.
And it has to be because his side lanes aren't doing too well. Snoopy not doing so well against Arkil in the boxing trade, but Snoopy knows that he's got just about enough gold to go back for those Devourer's gauntlets soon, and having that slight level lead means that it's going to be tough for Arco to kind of keep up once Snoopy finishes off that key power item.
Oh, good news for Arkil. He did deny 2 creeps away from Snoopy there that got into the tower range before the next wave comes in. And that might be the only glimmering hope here of how this team's looking. Obviously, Zeros hasn't died just yet. We know he's going to farm till around 20 minutes. And then you've also got Arkil. He has taken a tumble early on, but he may be able to steady the ship now.
I love the point that I believe it was PBM made on the desk about Hurwind on the Morrigan. And Hurwind is, for my money, the most vocal mid laner. He does so much for this Trifecta roster about making calls, about where everyone needs to be. So many mid laners are so worried about hitting their abilities and being in the right position that they aren't able to be that leading voice for a squad. And Hurwind doesn't have that problem. He's very vocal, he's very attentive to the map, and does a lot for Trifecta in the comms. And so having a proactive god like the Morrigan, where he can determine his own plays that he wants to make, synergizes so well with his play style. I love watching him on this god.
Arkil in a lot of trouble there. Already used his dash, his beads, and his ultimate to escape Snoopy, who rotated around the back. The pings came out from Dignitas there as Snoopy looked towards the mid lane, and on the rotation back, no one seemed to spot it, so Arkil ends up using all his defensive options for a little while.
Good knock up there from Aurora, but Kiki's going to find the kill on the right-hand side on a Variety. Sinosure assisting with that ultimate as well. Another kill on the Dignitas solo lane.
Now
That's 2 already.
could be dead in the mid lane too. Hurriwind collapses with Sinosure. This is getting out of control, aggro, and it's getting out of control brutally. If you're a Dignitas fan, this is not the squad we have seen all year long, but their heads have dropped. You can see it in every single face in the bottom right of your screen.
You really can, and it's very clear that this has been an issue that has plagued some members of this team for a while now. Cuvo and Trix had poor performances at last year's Super Regionals, and by their own admission, they just kind of got upset with themselves and got tilted that they hadn't had the performance in the semifinals that they expected to have, and it's tough to watch because it's very clear that something similar has happened this year.
I mean, you think about Variety too. I mean, not so long ago, 1 year ago to be exact, pretty much the World Championships, people claiming he should have been MVP even though he lost on the Obey team. He left Obey to join this team. And now he won't be going back to Worlds when Obey will.
Funny enough, there was Variety and his old Obey squad that knocked old Orbit out, which was Trixtank and Cuvo Fred, and really ripped their world spot away from them and had that performance. And you're exactly right. I mean, to go from the Worlds finals of last year, say, I think I can do better with this squad, and watch as your old team is, didn't cruise by any means against Elevate, but already secured their spot at HRX. It can't be easy.
Well, that solo lane thing in Europe has been interesting too, because think of old Salia. He's been out in the scene for so long. He gets a gift. Variety gives up his Obey spot. Maniac takes it. Maniac gives up the Obey spot. Obey the best team. Zella said, thanks very much. I guess I'll go to Worlds, but I didn't manage to make it last year.
Yeah, but when you really think about it, who's the real winner here? Because Zalia still has to deal with Captain Twig on a daily basis, and that can't be easy.
That's true. I mean, also, you take into account Trixtank and Cuvo left Zaylia as well on their previous team, and going to see Zaylia at Worlds this year after looking to make a new team themselves. So it comes around and goes around in terms of ability so far. 7-0 to Trifecta. No even attempt at the Gold Fury just yet. Not even been required.
A lot of that because Snoopy hasn't been able to finish the Devo Gauntlets quite yet. And just now backing to base should be able to finish that off without much worry. And now we can start stacking up and working towards the ability to be able to tank up that Gold Fury and allow the rest of Trifecta to just kind of zone everybody else away. Right now, no one on Trifecta can tank that up unless it's a Roar or Kiki, and then they wouldn't be able to be on zone duty.
Variety 2 levels behind that of Kiki in that lane now after we were talking about.
Nice
Hori went round the back, looking for a stun on Trix and finds it. Trix trying to juke out and gets the drums out of Zeros to help support, but still Trix is in trouble as Horiwin decides he's a warrior now.
Sino, no ultimate available. I don't even think he needs it because Cubo Fred's in a ton of trouble anyways. Hurry is going to get a double kill, and it's now 9-0 in Trifecta's favor.
And with this game, Trifecta, obviously they need this additional win for themselves as well. Gonna help them out as they're looking for the Gold Fury. Looking through the plan for Trifecta, their next opposition will be Energy. So this is a good way to warm up, I guess, against Europe. Arkil
tries to steal it away, ends up throwing his life away for it. You gotta respect that he knows that if this Gold Fury goes down, Trifecta's already in a dominant position. You gotta try and make some sort of last-ditch effort to get the game going in your favor. Doesn't end up going that way. Now double digits for Trifecta.
I mean, even though we're talking about Dignitas playing down, clearly not being happy, this is no disrespect to how Trifecta have come into this. They announced themselves, you know, they didn't play well, they didn't understand the meta, they mentioned about scrim locks potentially not being able to scrim enough teams that they were looking for, but the one thing they have done is clearly, after seeing them today, is after that loss on Wednesday, they have sat back, watched all these games and made adjustments, and it's looking a lot better from this team that looked great, potentially at Valencia.
It really has been impressive what Trifecta has been able to do so quickly and turning it around, and it's no surprise to me because this is a group of incredibly talented players and incredibly intelligent players as well. That's one thing that, you know, talking to the Obey guys really stood out to them when messing around and playing with Aurora and Kiki at the Energy Invitational, that those are really, really smart guys who can adapt very quickly and learn on the fly. And I'm excited because Trifecta is one of my favorite teams to watch whenever they're clicking on all cylinders. You know, they didn't have the best of online portions of the fall split, trying to assimilate Aurora into this roster and get him feeling comfortable and ready to go. And you know, this team clearly has the potential.
Well, here comes the potential for some more kills. Beads forced out by Cubo. Will chop somebody in place, though. Cancel that. That was a cleanse coming out from Trix, and there's no beads available for Cubo there, so good work from him. Defense is solid enough from Dignitas there. Scary thing is how confident Trifecta are to just pincer maneuver from every single side of Dignitas' jungle.
Yeah, if Dig does that 4 minutes earlier, we're talking about a turnaround for Dignitas, because that was a great play from Trix Tank, from Cubo, to recognize that he was safe and to turn around, hit the 180 Kabrakan ultimate and try and keep Kiki locked in underneath that tower. Dignitas did everything right there. Problem is, they're down 6,000 gold already and just don't do enough damage.
I mean, the 10 kills, you know, that doesn't mean too much overall, apart from when you see how far along Horiwin's build is now because of that. But that 6,000 gold is an important factor, as well as the levels. Only one still keeping pace is Zeros, but that's not to be surprised.
Snoopy playing aggressive all the way up at the enemy red buff, but with Cubo there, even having the 2-level lead over the jungler and the enemy hunter, decides to go away. Hurwind looks like he could be building into a Void Stone, and I would love this pickup for him. I mean, Morrigan is going to be doing quite a bit of damage, really close up. That's where the real burst damage from the Morrigan comes from. And look at where the damage is going to be coming from Dignitas. It's from the Raijin, it's from the Kabrakan. Even the Hell damage will be relevant at some point. Now, the player damage for those three aren't great right now. They're near the bottom, but if you can build something like a Void Stone and keep it that way, then it makes you even more effective.
Now, even though Dignitas are really looking low here, you've got to factor in the Hell, after all. Everyone's been talking about it all weekend. I mean, the Death the other day was like, you have to beat Hell at every stage of the game. This is still early game. We're getting towards mid now. Obviously, no one Gold Fury down so far, so it's still early game. But if Hell starts to get okay in the mid game, and they get to late game, you're still going to have to deal with this Hell and keep the punishment going.
And the Lotus Crown being done means that Trix Tank is going to be even more effective now with that Inspire, that heal over time that can keep that physical protection buff up and running for his squad.
And following that, the purple buff about to spawn in Dignitas' jungle. Already 2 members of Trifecta waiting in the wings. There's a ward down to let Arkill know they are in the corner there, but there's not a lot they can do about it. Arkill, Cubo on the way over. Hurriwind noticing this rotation, but the purple is already down.
Snoopy uses the jump head, comes back towards his team. Aurora going to throw down that Cataclysm, but Cubo Fred is gone before he hits the ground.
Elevate want to take note of how to make sure they don't get picked with that Cabrakan potentially, because that's how you destroy him, quite clearly. Kiki rotates the mid lane to join Variety there, just in case the rotation develops any further. 11 kills now, and now pressure onto Arkill. Is a blinking from Aurora on the left-hand side. There was a follow-up from Sinashore too. Just not going to get in range in time. Aurora's ultimate now on cooldown. Did cost Arkill his beats, however.
And his ult as well, just to make sure that he could get away as quickly as possible. So trading a blink ult for an ult and a bead's definitely worth it for Trifecta.
So back to the mid lane, rolls Aurora now, level 12, just a little bit ahead of Trixtank in terms of experience right now. Cancel that, level 13, so a bit more than a little bit further ahead. Variety still trying to keep pace in that solo lane, just a little bit behind Kiki. And still Zero's evened out. Got the Obsidian Shard online now, so a bit more pen for some of these frontline damage dealers.
There are some important items coming up now for Dignitas that can help them try and claw back into this one. That Obsidian Shard for Zeros being a big deal because of how far ahead Kiki and Aurora are. And Aurora specifically has gone for plenty of magical defense right off the bat between the Void Stone and the Pestilence. And with Hurriwind finishing off his Void Stone, that penetration going to be very, very important, excuse me. But on the other side of the coin, I mean, Variety goes for an early Stone of Gaia here, which is going to be impactful against the knockups from Geb and from Xing Chen. And Cubo Fred is the one who really needs to try and get some farm going and get back into this game, because working on what's probably going to be a Void Stone, he is still so far behind in XP that I'm not sure he'll be able to do any sort of frontlining for his squad.
Trix and Zeros forced out as the red buff being looked at by Trifecta. Variety's here, and it looks like he may be able to strip that one away. Not 100% sure there, unfortunately. No ghosts at the moment, but the Gold Fury definitely on the cards for Trifecta. They won't just want that. They'd like a couple more kills if they can.
This is classic Trifecta. Snoopy, one of the guys who loves to pull it all the way into the pit. Cubo Fred again. A lot of cooldowns dumped on top of him, but he had the Aegis that time.
Variety's got a nice sash off, and that sash is actually going to limit some of the damage coming out from the ultimate from Sinashore. Still good enough for the follow-up, though, from the good old Kiki. So cheeky. It's 1 kill, still not on the board from Dignitas as Snoopy claims a second life. Trix being pressured, but dancing around. Variety will pick up 1. Snoopy's on a triple, and there's a quadra, and Zeros will turn tail. Nope, 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 nope. Get me out, get me out, get me out. Gold Fury's going to go down, but at least Dignitas claimed a life.
But the Gold Fury's gone. They lost 4 members. Hurriwind the only one to fall, and he did a good job that team fight of transforming into the Naja, being just buying some extra time and setting up our Arkill to get actually pulled in by Kiki's ultimate. Remember, Arkill's beads were down off that blink Cataclysm on the left-hand side, forced by Aurora earlier on. Trifecta just putting on a clinic on how to push a lead from ahead. Love that they spread out, they invade some buffs, but they don't take too much before that next Gold Fury spawns. A couple moments before, they get the beads out from Arkill, and then they reset, back and buy, get their wards. They're there for the red buff spawn, and they're all 5 grouped because the Gold Fury has just respawned. They want to force Dignitas into a 5-on-5 fight.
Zeros has to bead, looking to juke out. Aegis down 2, looking for his jump. Jump is cancelled out, and he can't get away. Can we call that an unofficial pentakill?
No, that was like 30 seconds later.
I mean, he killed all 5 in a row.
Yeah, but 30 seconds apart.
Okay, but, you know, like, okay, whatever. I just want to try and give him the niceness, you know, getting a pentakill.
Snoopy's good enough. He doesn't need to get he doesn't need a pentakill gifted to him, Hindu. He'll get it on his own right.
Okay, well, Fire Giant now available here for Trifecta, and honestly, aggro this weekend so far, I mean, it's only Friday, it's looking like a 3-horse race into tomorrow. And when I say looking like, it is a 3-horse race. It's Energy, Elevate, and now Trifecta are looking like they're going to go that way too.
Hurriwind looking for that Naja ultimate. He gets one delivered to him.
Why is there 2 people in the air at the same time? That's disgusting.
That's Naja, man. But okay, wait. What if they do the thing where they Naja alt 1 and then Hurry transforms, and then no, it's the same one. It's the you take the same person up twice in a row.
Well, they're going to take the Fire Giant for a ride at least for now. Kivo Fred just trying to deal with Hurriwind, and this is how confident you can be when Hurriwind is fighting a Cabrakan. We've seen Cabrakan be terrifying this weekend to all squishies, but not Hurriwind right now. He's like, you know what? We can box. I'll take it on.
All right, well, to be fair, Hindu, I don't think another Cabrakan was 0-5.
That is also true. This is unfortunate because Dignitas, like, this is...
It hurts, man.
It's brutal to watch, and these games do happen, and the heads have dropped to the Dignitas boys. I've seen it happen with teams before. We all have. It's just the worst case to see it after the performances of a team that went to Valencia and won. They won Valencia. They beat all the other European teams, all the North American teams in attendance to get there. Won it outright in a best of 5 that went all 5 games, beating out rival, and we won't be seeing them anywhere near the world stage. They're not even going to get into day 2 tomorrow, technically.
No, it's really it's tough to watch, and it's the craziest thing about it is I think if we would have polled all the pro players coming here to Super Regionals and asked them who the best team in the world was coming into this event, I think the majority would have said Dignitas.
And I think rightfully so. They looked the best at, at Valencia, but then online had a few mishaps. It wasn't terrible mishaps, though. They still qualified in the top 4. Like, they were still a fantastic seed and just lost out to Obey.
Well, now they're grouped as 5, trying to find a pickoff here, and they may have found 3 members, but Aurora wants to turn it around.
Zero's under pressure from Aurora. Meanwhile, Variety's looking for Snoopy. Variety's trying to show they can still go with the best of them, but Arceus is whacking away. Snoopy, level 19, is still absorbing all this punishment. Finally, Cuvo will get the kill and get the tremors off. And meanwhile, though, Kiki still wants Trixtank as one goes to the sky. That's Hurrywin taking one. Is Sano going to do the same? Oh, Sano's not got his ult. I got excited.
That was almost the dream scenario. Aurora doesn't have his blink available, doesn't have his ultimate, so this chase is pretty much over for the moment. Losing Snoopy there does hurt Trifecta's siege potential, but you've still got plenty of front line and a way to set up for Sinosure to come in and blow up these towers because Naja excellent at objective burn.
Yeah, we've only 3 carries there. Sorry, 3 characters for Dignitas in the map. I mean, they can't stop the tier 2 siege whatsoever. That'll expose a Phoenix on the left-hand side. They've still got 2 towers in the mid lane to focus down, especially without Snoopy, as we were saying. At least they'll be able to go and get those. Arkil may need to watch his back.
I mean, he's got no beads, he's got his ultimate up, and he's got his Aegis up, so he should be able to escape as long as he paths correctly, and good decision to go away from the last known position of Trifecta, who have just outplayed Dignitas on this one.
Definitely a good sign for North America, though. If you're a North American fan, you know, no one last year, you sent 4 teams to Worlds. It was looking like 2 for a little while, but Trifecta is showing they've got something. They've got a couple more games tomorrow, obviously 3 left to play tomorrow, and they'll need to win a lot of those.
And most importantly, of those 3 games, 2 are against the 2 teams that they're going to be right there with. They've got their game against Elevate, and they've got their game against Energy as well. Now remember, Trifecta played against Energy at DreamHack Valencia. It
was close.
Should have won that set.
It was close.
Everyone knows that they should have won that set. It just was some great Morrigan plays by Yaman and some misplays by Trifecta that really made it so that they didn't. In how well can Trifecta change their strategy and get ready for the strategy of Elevate? Elevate's not going to surprise anybody with anything they're playing the rest of this weekend.
Let me tell you a funny story, though, because Trifecta will play against Energy first, right? And if Trifecta win that game, Trifecta will be on 3 wins.
Yes.
Energy then have to face Elevate straight afterwards. And if Elevate beat Energy and Trifecta beat Elevate, then Energy won't make it and it'll be Elevate and Trifecta. That's the possibility.
Energy, even with their great performance today, still not locked by any stretch, and they've got their. But let's be fair. Who have they yet to play? The 2 other teams who are looking good in the group stage. Not to take anything away from how well Energy played today, and they look like they have returned to form at least to some degree, and looking like their old selves. But they've got to play the 2 teams that look better than everyone else down here in this group stage.
And that'll all happen tomorrow. Variety tries to take on a fight.
He lived.
But he won't be able to stop the Portal Demon going down yet again. The rest of Dignitas fighting over scraps on the left-hand side of the map, if anything, just trying to hold on because they do realize they have a hell. And they also know this is a LAN. They don't want to just like collapse and just call it a day, even though they know this is a very bad situation to be in, almost uncomebackable. I would say, like, in terms of a scrim, they'd probably surrender, but they won't hit.
Probably, homie. If this was a scrim, we would have been out of here exactly 23 minutes ago.
Do you mean when it was like 5-0?
Yep.
Yep, that scoreline sounded good. Oh, the double kill in duo?
Yeah, right after that, I think.
I don't think the double kill in duo, I think they were still in it. I think the double kill in duo started things off negatively, and Dignitas didn't raise their heads. I think the kill on Cuvo in the mid after the fight on right-hand side, I think that broke the back of the game.
I think that Dignitas got their back broken game 2 against a rival. yesterday. That's where this whole event turned around for me.
Are they going to fight? Is that what Trix is trying to do here? Cataclysm out of Horrorwind. Cleanse used by Trixtank. Zero's on the backside. Cubo round the back. Slashing from Sinosure. Arkell looking to pressure onto Snoopy with variety. Dignitas stepped up to the Fire Giant pit and control it.
They get a couple important relics too. Sino uses beads. The sprint was used by Aurora, and Horrorwind used the ultimate, though Hurry's got a little bit of CDR with that Spear of Desolation. Not a lot, though. No Sands of Time, I don't believe, for Horrorwind anymore. I think he may have sold it. Or no, he still does have it, excuse me. So 20% CDR between the starter item and that Spear of Desolation.
Aurora still has his Blink and ultimate. I know you just saw a get Blink and ult, but it wasn't him. So keep an eye on that again, especially when you keep an eye on the relics of Dignitas. They'll be looking to burn those beads a little bit. Trifecta aren't playing anything stupid, though. Like, even though they're in the lead here, they don't want to make a terrible mistake and give Dignitas a small window with a Fire Giant.
Remember, Trifecta was up against a European team at LAN not long ago and had an unlosable lead, and then they lost it against Energy. Now, they're the ones with the Morgan this time, and the late game for Dignitas is really revolved around Trixtank, and it's not damage-oriented, it's sustain-oriented, but the Trifecta, excuse me, have been in this situation before, and there's no reason not to play it safe.
Sure. And at the same time, I hope Dignitas realize that themselves. I mean, the faces don't show that on the cameras, but maybe they do. Maybe they're like, listen, Trifecta have thrown a worse lead, a bigger lead than this. And,
okay, I don't know if it was this big.
All right,
it was close.
We're trying to tell a story here. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with it. This is a Cinderella story of Dignitas.
You'd think that Dignitas was the crusher of the Cinderella stories coming into this one, but you know, that here we are.
I mean, now the shoes on the other foot.
Truly is, and an excellent reference.
Really good.
It like tied in with the Cinderella thing, and it fit the situation perfectly. Well done.
Look at me, I'm working. Variety's going to step up to the Fire Giant, see it's being done, slow down Snoopy just a little bit. Aurora on Zone G gets whacked out a little bit, but that's an Aurora at level 17 versus a solo laner at level 16. Variety's ultimate used on cooldown defensively to get away, and in comes the drums from Zeros, trying to catch Horrorwind, but Horrorwind turns it back around. He's going to look straight towards Zeros now. Zeros looking to get over the wall if he can as Horrorwind hunts with that Nashor ultimate. He'll have to surrender it to get back to the Fire Giant.
To close the gap, making sure that he can start up this Fire Giant as quickly as possible. Aurora still has that Blink ultimate. The sprint's up soon.
Goes in, gets the cleanse onto Arkell, and Arkell's beads too in that one. Snoopy's already taken out Variety. Sinoshore's going to take Cubo up at level 17 for Cubo. And now the Aegis is down too. Aurora, meanwhile, pins off the rest of Dignitas with a 3-man blink into Cataclysm. Still going in is Snoopy now, looking to whack away a little bit more, and he'll force that pony to appear for Arkell. And Trifecta, all men alive, will fall back to the Fire Giant once more.
Man, I love that play from Aurora. Finding a Blink Cataclysm on the 3 where there's no follow-up intentionally to make sure that no one can step up and save Cubo Fred. Great heads-up play there by Aurora and Trifecta working together really, really well right now. And even with a lead, that's not something that you can, say that it doesn't matter, and that's one of the things that sometimes with a lead, you don't need to have good teamwork plays. You can just let your lead do it all for you. No, Trifecta's staying focused, and they're working together well as a unit, and it makes their lead that much more effective.
22-2. Gold lead at 28 minutes. It's all Trifecta. It's huge. Really good situation. And just like everyone pointed out there, yes, Aurora missed getting involved in a kill.
Yeah,
what a lazy support. Thank you, cameraman. We needed that. For anyone who doesn't know, that's Ron Jobbit, by the way. Ron Jobbit is trying to show us that he knows how math works. 22 does not equal 21.
I actually asked Ron to do a math problem the other day, and he couldn't figure it out. So this is actually a step up from where he was before. Maybe he's just trying to show us that he's learning, and we should commend him for it.
Maybe he is. Hopefully, the camera work will get better one day. Now the Gold Fury has spawned again. Fire Giant on all 5 members of Trifecta. They're mainly not really needing the Gold Fury right now. It would mainly be the Tier 2 Tower and then those Phoenixes. Dignitas, probably last-ditch defense will be a middle Phoenix, I'm guessing, or one of the Phoenixes at least.
Yeah, if you're Dignitas, it's power potion time. It's try and one-shot somebody with Raijin ultimate time.
You can't one-shot someone with Raijin ultimate at this stage.
No, you can't, but
even with Rada Tahuti.
You can't really fight into them either, so you don't really have a lot of options. I think that it's, catch someone like Horrorwind who doesn't have his relics off guard when he's not ready for it, and try and pick him off before he can use the transformation and before Aurora can shield him. It's last ditch. I mean, it's right now, Dignitas, whatever they had done up to this point, wasn't working. And sometimes you got to try and make a weird play and try and turn it around.
Well, they did manage to kill Snoopy and Horrorwind once, so the KDs are still fine. They're still 5-1 and 18, which is, pretty damn solid. But Same time, if they can find those carries again, it will slow it down once more. Variety on the front side can't tank up against Snoopy too much at this stage. Another minion wave coming in. Trifecta may look to engage.
Aurora doesn't use that Blink ultimate quite yet because he's put in combat. Kiki's ultimate has been pretty impactful as well after getting those beads chased out by Naja, by Geb, even by Heroine transforming into one of those two characters. Kiki's been holding that ultimate very nicely and using it to kind of re-engage the fights.
Kiki on the front side, Sanisho throws out the ring toss, mainly just to clear the minion wave more often than not, as Heroine goes in for a bit of poke too. This is just Trifecta wait for the right moment to just all in.
Watch Aurora, he's got that Blink ultimate. If Arkil and Zeros group up, he's going to be going in for it.
There's the suns raining down from Snoopy, mainly to zone as Sanisho. A little bit off the mark on that ultimate on Variety, so now he's going to have a boxing match he might not really enjoy. Kiki forced out as a big old shell comes out, as well as the shield from Aurora there too. The drum Zeros zones away Snoopy, but Snoopy's going to be fine. Kiki, though, different story. Heroine's now running for his life as well. Dignitas, hold. Dignitas are actually still alive.
Down nearly 20k gold against a Fire Giant. Okay, hold on, Hindu. It's not even 31 minutes in. Take a breath.
Listen, I tried to keep a straight face when I said that, but I lost that one. I'm sorry. Maybe a tier 2 though. That's definitely for sure here with all the members of Trifecta backing at the moment. Fire Giant's going to wear off in 30 seconds. So this is some much needed gold though for Dignitas.
Oh, desperately, and they could get up closer to some power
Arkill's
items.
mouth is moving. They're alive.
They're talking, and they might be going for this mid-Phoenix. They still got 20 seconds on Kiki and Heroine.
Okay, Phoenix going to go down in mid lane potentially. Aurora on defense here. Knock up onto Cubo. Ricochet will miss from Snoopy, but the Phoenix is down. Sino will one-shot. Cubo, Fred, and Dignitas have to turn tail. Sino's not done though, still going in. Used the ult, but didn't get on target. Instead, Variety turns around on Snoopy, forcing out the beats too. Variety gets a nice cleanse, but it's not going to stop the powerhouse at Snoopy and the amount of damage he can do.
That ring
this
bounce.
could turn around.
Arkill's got to use the Aegis, has the dash away. No ultimate available. Perfect sash from Sinosure as well, and Arkill likely to fall.
Arkill uses his Aegis, uses everything to try and stay alive. Zeros is alive. Trixtank's alive. Cubo's up in 22. This should at least be a Phoenix for Trifecta now.
Easily a mid-Phoenix here for them, even with Heroine lagging a little bit behind off his respawn. This should easily be a mid-Phoenix. Could potentially even look to the left-hand side as well.
Well, middle one's taking a little bit of time here as they've got no minions with them, so it takes a little bit extra, but they're going to go for the end, Trifecta. They see an opportunity. They've seen a window. Cubo comes up, though. Sun's rained down. The damage is too much, however. Dignitas' latch-stitch defense just wasn't good enough this time round. Dignitas, goodbye. We'll see you.